Hey guys, it's Katie from Mattress Clarity. I'm so excited because today I get to talk to you about this humidifier. This is the Honeywell Cool Moisture Germ-Free Humidifier. There's a lot going on here. It's one of the most popular humidifiers on the market, and for good reason. Super efficient and super easy to use. We're going to leave no stone left unturned in this review. I'm going to break down all the pieces. I'm going to show you how to set it up in your room. I'm going to show you how to care for it, and I'm going to answer some commonly asked questions about humidifiers. So we're going to talk all about that and more, so stick around because the review is about to start right now. Okay, before we get started on this review, I want you guys to check out mattressclarity.com. We've got all of the mattress reviews, all of the pillow reviews, all that classic stuff, but we have a lot of sleep-related health topics, individual reviews, including more humidifier reviews up there. Just go to the sleep accessories tab, click on that, you're gonna see a whole list of them. And again, I've got more humidifier reviews up there as well. Of course, comment below if you've got any questions as this goes on, and tell me if you think this humidifier is gonna be a good fit for you. All right, let's get to the basics. I'm gonna go over the key features of this Honeywell humidifier, and then I'm gonna show you all the different parts, how they come together, and how to set it up in your own room. All right, and this one is the Honeywell Cool Moisture Germ-Free Humidifier, and the model number for this is HCM350. They make a bunch of different humidifiers, so you want to make sure you match up that model number. There's a lot going on here. It's a little bit of a bigger machine because it's not only adding moisture to your like a standard humidifier does, but it's also having a little bit of a system with a UV light that destroys that extra bacteria or any water-based germs, which is a really nice added bonus. But I'll be the first one to say you still have to regularly clean this humidifier. It doesn't mean that it's a self-cleaning humidifier. So what's going to happen is that you're going to fill up a water tank, and then the water is going to flow through that UV system to break up that bacteria, destroy the bacteria, and then it's going to hit a wicking filter. So I'll break this apart in a second and show you that wicking filter is, but that's going to just be right next to the fan, and the fan in the machine is going to use that wicking filter to add the moisture to the air in the room. And this is an invisible cool moisture, so you're not going to see any of the moisture added to the room. Just keep that in mind as well. You will see the water tank slowly lose water though, so you'll know it's working. There's 3 fan speeds that you can choose from: a lower one, a medium one, and a higher one. And that's going to determine how much output or how much humidity is entering the room. I will say this machine is self-regulating in terms of the humidity level. It's not going to let the room get more than 60% saturated with humidity. It's going to control it on its own, even regardless of what fan speed you use. But if you decide that you want more moisture to come out as quickly as possible, you'll do the highest fan speed, and then versus, you know, a little bit less, the lower fan speed. Now this affects how fast the water is drained from the water tank. So it's a 1.1 gallon tank, and overnight it'll last about 12 to 16 hours on the highest fan speed and 24 hours on the lowest. So it'll definitely work at least one night. You might be able to get 2 nights out of it depending on what you use and how long you're sleeping. So definitely something to keep in mind. Now there's like 4 main pieces here, and they're all easy to clean. 2 of them are dishwasher safe. We're going to go over the descaling, disinfecting process, but no, that does need to be cleaned weekly. And the wicking filter I talked about needs to be replaced once to twice a month depending on how hard the water is that you're using. Now it is ideal for medium-sized rooms. So think rooms that are like 400 square feet, 19 feet by 19 feet, somewhere in that realm. That's going to be a good fit. So that might work for some adult master bedrooms, some modest-sized bedrooms, guest rooms, and of course kids rooms. And the sound is very low, so I will say this will work for a kids room pretty well. Now you can get it at a bunch of different stores, which is great. So definitely price compare. Expect to pay around $60 for this device, and you're going to get a 3-year limited warranty. All right, I'm gonna break this whole thing apart and show you all the different components. It's actually very simple. And then I'm gonna show you exactly how to put it all together and how to use it in your room. So what you're looking at right here is really the main housing unit. There's a fan right here, and the motor system, sort of like the brains of the operation, are in this big unit. But what we're gonna do first is take off the water tank. It's one of the simplest water tanks I've seen. You basically just hold it like this, pull up, and this is where the water goes. And this is a tank cap. So you can obviously unscrew that and add the water to it, and then simply place it back in there. And then you can take off this, you know, motor housing unit part. This is the big piece, not that heavy at all. Put that to the side, and then you're gonna see this is the wicking filter. So this is what I was talking about earlier. This is gonna get soaked in water and sit in the base, and the fan is gonna use this to add the moisture to the air. So this is an important piece, and of course this is what needs to be replaced every 1 to 2 months. And then the last piece is just this base. So this is the base. This is holding the whole thing together. There's not much else to say about it except that this part and the water tank are things that can go in the dishwasher, and I'm going to show you how to clean that in a little bit. All right, now it's time to talk about how to actually use your humidifier. So the first thing you're gonna do is fill up this water tank with water. Now you can use regular water from your kitchen tap or bathroom tap, or you can use distilled water. The perk of using distilled water is that it's not gonna have any minerals. So if you have naturally hard water, that's gonna be harder on your wicking filter, which is absorbing those minerals, and you may have to change your wicking filter more often if you use hard water. If you use distilled water, you're gonna have less of that, and the wicking filter will last a little bit longer. So either way, fill up that 1.1 gallon water tank with water and make sure that nice little cap is on very tight. Then you're going to take the base and the wicking filter and you're going to soak that wicking filter in cool water. Place it on the base immediately, otherwise it's going to drip everywhere, and take the base and the wicking filter and place it on a surface that's going to be appropriate for your humidifier. So it needs to be 6 inches away from a wall or any furniture, and hopefully elevated, because that's going to help promote that cool moisture through the air and promote that airflow. And you're also going to want a water resistant surface. This is important because the leaks can happen, that we're dealing with water here, we're dealing with moisture in the air. If you put it on wood, like a wooden desk or a wooden dresser, I would try to have a water resistant surface, just a layer right immediately under it, so you're not potentially damaging any of your furniture. So once you've got that wicking filter and the base wherever you want it to be in your room, go ahead and put that big housing unit back on top and then add the filter tank that should be full of water. So make sure the unit's turned off first before plugging it in. Then of course plug it in an appropriate outlet nearby, and then change your fan speeds. This is where you can set it to low, medium, or high. You're also going to see a little green power button show up. That means that it's on, that means that it's working. If it turns red, that means that the UV light needs to be changed out. This UV light should last you like 30,000 hours, so in no way in the near future you're going to need to, but make sure you keep your information. There's a little documentation, a manual that will have a phone number for you to call when you get that red button, and they'll teach you how to change out your UV light. All right, so that is how you set up and how you start your humidifier. All right, let's dive into the pros of the Honeywell Cool Moisture Germ-Free Humidifier. So this is one of the most commonly requested humidifiers we get to review, and one of the most popular ones, and for good reason. It may be a little bit bulky, a little bit bigger than some of the other ones I reviewed, but it's such a simple, efficient, and effective machine. It's really just like a wonderful cool moisture humidifier. It works great. The sound is not too loud. It's easy to clean. It's easy to care for. It's by far the only humidifier that I reviewed that has any dishwasher-friendly parts to it. So I think that's awesome for sure, especially because you do need to clean it regularly. It will work very well for medium-sized rooms, and it will work well for children's rooms. Even on the highest setting, it really is not very loud at all. It's also affordable, especially compared to other ones that we reviewed. It's right across the board, right in line with them, around $60. And of course, because it's at a variety of locations, you can price compare and hopefully use a coupon and get it for cheaper. All right, here's a few things to think about before purchasing your humidifier. So the first thing across the board, and this applies to all humidifiers, is that they need to be cleaned very consistently, especially if you're using it every night. That's because there's a lot of water and moisture sitting and standing in these machines, especially when they're off and you're not using them. That's prime breeding ground for bacteria and mold spores. The last thing you want to do is let that kind of stuff into your air. Yes, this is a germ-free model. There's a UV light going on. It will help destroying the bacteria before it hits the air, but it doesn't mean that it's a self-cleaning device. It's not a self-cleaning device. Don't misinterpret that for sure. You're gonna have to clean this thing weekly. That's descaling and disinfecting. Don't worry, we're gonna go over all that in a second. Of course, there are some dishwasher safe parts which make it a plus, but you do have to make sure you are committed to a maintenance routine with this. And as I mentioned before, there's a wicking filter in here. It needs to be replaced every 1 to 2 months, more frequently if you have hard water that's got a lot of minerals, because that's where those minerals are gonna get absorbed. So if your wicking filter has an odor, if it's getting kind of crusty, if it's got like a pinkish or a rusty color to it, those are all good signs that you're going to need to replace it. So the filter that you need is made by Honeywell. It's HAC 504 filter A. So you should be able to get this at a variety of places, but I'll be honest, I had a challenging time trying to locate an extra one for this review. It was back ordered on Amazon, and then my Target, CVS, and Walgreens, neither of them carried it locally, or my Home Depot didn't carry it locally either. So you would have to order it straight off the Honeywell website. So if you are going to get this humidifier and you know you're going to want to use these replacements pretty frequently, go ahead and order a couple of them, add a couple of to your cart, so that you're not always having to constantly remind yourself to reorder. And they do charge about $10 to $13 depending on where you get it per filter. So just keep in mind that you're going to need to add that to your budget as well. So we've harped on how important it is to keep your humidifier clean. Luckily in this case, there are two pieces that are dishwasher safe, which will save you some time. So you cannot use it with any other dishes, no dirty food flying around the dishwasher. It needs to be top rack only, and you need to use a light or normal cycle with not a lot of heat. It can't be over 158 degrees. So there definitely are some conditions that affect whether or not it's gonna work for you. Again, top rack only. You're gonna wanna use the water tank and the base for this. Those are the only two components that can be dishwasher safe. The tank cap cannot. So make sure you unscrew that tank cap and leave that aside before putting those two pieces in the dishwasher. So if you don't have a dishwasher, you can't use it, you're gonna have to clean it by hand. And the two things you're gonna need to do is descale and disinfect your humidifier, which is very simple to do. You are gonna need undiluted white vinegar and a little bit of bleach and a lot of water and a kitchen sink for all of this. Okay, so let's do the scaling, or the descaling rather. So that means that you're removing the minerals that can come from hard water buildup in your machine. Make sure that you have unplugged and turned off your humidifier first and foremost. Across the board, please do that first, and bring it to your kitchen sink. What you're gonna do is take the water tank, open it up, remove any extra water that might be in there, and keep that tank cap off and set that aside. Then you're gonna take off that main housing part, put that aside, and you're gonna have the wicking filter and the base left. The wicking filter does not need to be clean, so you're just gonna leave that to the side. Get the base, and then take a nice rag or any sort of rag that you have and put the undiluted vinegar solution in there and just wipe it down. And then wipe down your water tank and wipe down your water cap and just leave it for like a few minutes to dry, let the vinegar work its magic, and then rinse all of it until you don't smell that vinegar anymore and let that dry. So that's the descaling process. It's very simple. You're just using the undiluted white vinegar and wiping everything down. And then next step is to disinfect it. And this is where you're gonna wanna bring out those rubber gloves, and you wanna be a little bit careful because you are gonna be working with bleach. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna have all the pieces separated already because you've just descaled them. Take that water tank, fill it up with about a gallon of warm water, and add a tablespoon of bleach to that mix. Then you're gonna get a rag and dip it into that solution, just put it in your sink for a second. Put the tank cap on, swish the water tank around a little bit, let it really get disinfected, and then just leave it off to the side for a little bit to let it work its magic. Then you're gonna grab that rag that you just put with the solution, it's got that bleach on it, and then you're gonna wipe down the base, and then you're gonna rinse the base and make sure that there's no more bleach. Then you're also gonna take that little rag and wipe the outer cover of the tank cap, wipe the tank, and then you're gonna open up the tank cap, release all that bleach water mix, and then just rinse everything again really thoroughly, making sure there's no more bleach smell, and then letting it air dry. So it is really important to let your machine dry when you're not using it. That's going to help stop and prevent any of those extra germs from building up. So you may be asking yourself, why is Mattress Clarity reviewing humidifiers in the first place? And that's a legit question. But the thing is that humidifiers help impact your sleep in a good way. And so we're all about helping you sleep better, and that's why we're reviewing these babies. So if you think about it, if you've got a dry climate, maybe you turn the heat on for the first time, or someone in your house is struggling with a cold or allergies, all of that impacts your sleep because the air is super dry. It irritates your nose, your nasal passages, makes your throat dry and scratchy, more likely to wake up coughing. So that's bad news. But adding moisture to the air through a humidifier really helps keep those passages open, keeps them lubricated, which is a freaky word to use, but basically it helps you stay more comfortable overnight, therefore helping you sleep longer, giving you the rest you need to really combat your allergies or your cold, or just wake up feeling more refreshed. So I just want to let you know, that's why we're doing this. We love humidifiers because they really help add moisture to the air, which helps you sleep longer. I'm going to quickly touch on some frequently asked questions about humidifiers, and the first one is about the Honeywell. They want to know, are Honeywell humidifiers good? Yes, the brand is known for making excellent humidifiers. This one in particular, this Cool Moisture germ-fighting humidifier, is probably one of their most popular, if not their most highly rated model. It's the HCM 350, just for reference. It's very popular and for good reasons. It's a super efficient machine, very simple to put together, and very easy to clean. And so for that reason, I will say yes, across the board, definitely consider a Honeywell humidifier. Another question we got is, how often should I clean my humidifier? Great question. I love talking about cleaning your humidifier. So first of all, follow the instructions for whatever brand humidifier you have. Honeywell tells us to clean this one every week, so weekly, and change out that wicking filter 1 to 2 months. Of course, if you have hard water, you may need to consider changing out that wicking filter even more frequently. The last question is, can I use my Honeywell humidifier without a wicking filter? And the answer to that is no, you cannot. This one in particular, the Honeywell Cool Moisture Germ-Fighting Humidifier, the Germ-Free Humidifier, needs to have a wicking filter. It's a prime important component to making this whole thing work. The filter absorbs that cool water that you have from the water tank and allows the fan to use it to put the moisture into your room. So without it, there really isn't a way for the moisture to be added to your room. It's a whole mess going on in here. The wicking filter is very important. If you don't want to deal with filters, and I don't blame you, look for filter-free options or ultrasonic humidifiers. Those rarely need filters. All right, that's a wrap on my Honeywell Cool Moisture Germ-Fighting Humidifier review. It's a mouthful. There's a lot of information to take in. So hopefully you learned something new here, and hopefully it helped guide you towards figuring out whether or not this is going to be a good fit for you. Comment below if you've got any questions or if you want a personal recommendation. I've had a chance to review a lot of different humidifiers at this point, and I've got a lot of thoughts on them. So definitely check out mattressclarity.com and subscribe and like to our YouTube channel for lots of content. And I hope I see you again soon.